Now that Australia is slowly crawling back to normalcy, it is time to talk about economic recovery. The Australian Taxpayers Alliance has put together recommendations to help Australia bounce back from COVID-19 stronger than ever. Australians have weathered the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and more recently, ravaging bushfires. We can also conquer the economic disaster ushered in by COVID-19. Our unemployment rate is sitting at 6.2%. Over 600,000 people lost their jobs in April alone. But that number is a bit misleading because it doesn't count the people who've given up hope of finding new jobs during these tough economic times. Over 60% of Australia's workforce currently isn't working. If one thing is clear, it's that we can't go on as usual. This national disaster requires real policy initiative. We need to jumpstart the economy to restore people to the dignity of work and to reclaim our lives. Today, we released a 5-point plan for quick recovery, and one that leaves Australia more resilient than before. Number 1, deregulate. Policymakers have wrapped our economy in a straitjacket of red tape. Where we can cut it, we should. It's literally free fiscal stimulus. Burdensome regulation and bureaucratic congestion is estimated to cost us billions of dollars every year. Many businesses have to hire staff just to ensure they're keeping track of new imposed regulations affecting their industry. We could barely afford bureaucratic congestion before COVID-19. We certainly can't now. Number 2, decentralize power. Democracy is an essential service. We have begrudgingly tolerated big government during this state of emergency. But as we get back to normal, the government needs to shrink to its original size and put power back into the hands of the Australian people. The normal operations of federal and state parliaments need to return as quickly as possible to restore accountability. Our police forces need to take a huge step back and regain some perspective. Everyday Australians are not malicious criminals. The judicial system has been battered by this virus and needs restoration. Jury trials are now a rarity, and on-the-spot fines have peaked. We need to restore a democratic and fair Australia now. Number 3, tax smarter, don't tax more. The ATA continues to call for state and federal tax reform and the overhaul of inefficient taxes. Australian businesses don't have a fighting chance when the Australian government takes 30% of their profits. The average OECD corporate tax rate is only 21.4%, while the states and territories collect the bulk of their revenue from the stamp duty. Stamp duty costs the economy more than it's worth. By switching to broad-based land tax, the states and territory governments could collect the same revenue without increasing the tax burden. Lastly, instead of taxing jobs with a payroll tax, we should encourage hiring. The federal government has dumped billions into the JobKeeper program to try and save jobs. Meanwhile, state governments are finding the businesses that have managed to hold on to their employees. Maybe the ATO should swear to do as little harm as possible, instead of ripping money out of the Australian economy. Number 4, boost the local economy. COVID-19 has revealed large gaps in Australia's supply chain. Australia was forced to scramble for medical supplies and other necessities normally sourced from abroad. Many people have demanded protection from global competition. Instead of attacking foreign industry to help our own, policymakers should make the economic ecosystem friendlier to businesses so that Australia can be internationally competitive. Changes should include increased bureaucratic efficiency so that businesses aren't waiting on the government before they can break ground. If Australia can get serious about these reforms, we can attract businesses and investment like moths to a lamp. And number 5, let Australians manage their own superannuation. The ATA supports the government's decision to allow struggling individuals to pull up to $10,000 from their superannuation accounts, tax-free. You should have more power over your retirement savings. We all face our own crises. People should be allowed to withdraw from their super tax-free when they need it most. The government can only react to national disasters. It cannot make similar exemptions for every personal crisis, crises which could be more devastating than COVID-19 for the people impacted. For many, this tax-free access to their own money could be their saving grace. Through this plan, the ATA aims to identify government waste so that the government can contain the deficit without increasing the burden on taxpayers or harming the economy. We want change, and there is no better time than the present. Our question to the government is, will you be brave enough to institute the big reforms that would deliver Australian prosperity for generations? You can find the 5-point policy proposal on our website under Submissions and Reports.